Hello, and thank you for being a part of our network. We are live from Johannesburg. My name is Spumelele Zondi. Now, Toyota says some of its cars have technical glitches. This is the case in South Africa too. MTN and Vodacom are stalling the mobile termination rate process. They have gone to court to block Ecasa's plans for now. We're discussing South Africa's satellites later. Business Connection is also paying us a visit. We are on SABC Network on Facebook and Twitter, News Network at sabc.co.za on email. Let's start with your technology and social media news now. The Independent Communications Authority of South Africa, Ecasa, has postponed its plans to reduce call rates. The regulator's plan has been halted by a court interdict obtained by mobile phone network providers MTN and Vodacom.
The Independent Communications Authority of South Africa has plans to cut call termination rates by up to 50%. This decision affects the rates mobile service providers bill one another when they carry each other's networks in certain areas. It's good news for Cell C and Telkom Mobile as they sometimes piggyback off the bigger providers. And when they do that, they often have to charge the customer more in order to pay the bill. Ecasa's plan would most probably result in the reduction of the amount of money paid by the customer when making mobile phone calls. On Friday, Ecasa had to put this on hold. The regulator is hoping it will now happen in May. This is because on Wednesday, the country's biggest mobile phone network providers, Vodacom and MTN, went to the Johannesburg High Court to obtain an interdict blocking the huge chunk of Ecasa's call termination regulations. They're saying they haven't been able to study them properly so they can have enough time to respond. The court agrees and says the 339-page-long document is too thick to review properly in a short space of time.
Wikipedia is now free on MTN South Africa's mobile web. This is in response to an online NEC nomination by pupils of Sinenjongo High School in Cape Town. The call to make Wikipedia free in the country started in 2012. The company is now making its own NEC nomination to others. Let's watch this video uploaded on YouTube by MTN staff members.
Hi, this is an open letter to the youth of South Africa and the student of Sinenjongo High School in Cape Town.
You recently shared a video asking South Africa's cellular networks to give their customers free access to Wikipedia.
We think this is a wonderful idea.
We know that many school children in this country don't have access to research material, which can make excelling at school so much more difficult.
That's why MTN is proud to be the first South African cellular network to make Wikipedia free.
Free Wikipedia means access to a wealth of knowledge on just about every topic.
Giving a boost not only to school children, but to a whole education system of South Africa.
We hope that by changing one small thing, we can change everything.
To the learners of Sinenjongo High School, you sparked the initiative. We'd like to thank you immensely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We nominate Sony and Samsung. You have 24 hours.
Sony and Samsung, you have 24 hours. Now that's good news. Let's hope others respond to their NEC nominations as well. Toyota is making a third recall for Prius cars. In South Africa, the automaker wants over 300 cars back. They say these have technical faults.
Toyota South Africa has recalled 321 Prius models due to technical glitches on their hybrid system. This is part of a global recall that saw over 2.1 million cars returning back to the company for fixing. In a statement, the Japanese automaker says it will recall 1.9 million Prius cars made between 2010 and 2014. Toyota says the problem is in the software used to boost the converter in a module that is a part of a hybrid system. This will result in various warning lights illuminating and will probably cause the vehicle to enter a fail-safe mode. Or, in limited cases, the hybrid system could shut down, causing the vehicle to stop. The latest recall will affect almost half of vehicles in Japan, about 713,000 vehicles in North America, and 130,000 vehicles in Europe. This would be the third recall for the current 5-year-old Prius for problems related to the brake accumulator. The Prius is one of Toyota's best-selling models and has become synonymous with the fuel-saving hybrid technology. In 2010, Toyota South Africa had another recall due to accelerator defects. The number of vehicles called back for a single defect has ballooned over the years, as car makers increasingly use common parts across multiple models to save development and procurement costs. In 2012, Toyota issued 2 recalls. In one, they had to fix power window switches that were a potential fire hazard. This was for 7.4 million vehicles. That was the industry's biggest single recall since Ford Motor Company took 8 million vehicles off the road in 1996.
Bitcoins are fast gaining popularity. Standard Bank hopes to bring the online currency to South Africa now. Producer Lewis Jagged tells us more.
Bitcoins became famous in 2013 when they were used to buy hard drugs on a website called Silk Road. Then in January, China's central bank blocked financial institutions and payment processing companies from using the cryptocurrency. Bitcoins could now be coming to South Africa, courtesy of Standard Bank. This was announced at the Financial Innovation Conference, Finovite Europe. The South African bank piloted the Bitcoin trading platform. Once successful, the system will enable Standard Bank account holders to buy, sell, and save their digital coins in the bank's online portal, and probably even trade them for goods. The demonstration of how it would work was done by South Africa's Bitcoins exchange firm, Switchless, at the conference in London on Thursday. Swanepoel says he is not at liberty to disclose anything about his client's plans.
Mobile East Africa took place in Kenya over 3 days during the week. The big talking point this year was making the internet affordable in the region. The event brings together different stakeholders in the mobile phone industry. In 2013, Afrobarometer did a study in 34 African countries. They found that 7 in 10 Africans own mobile phones. This huge number is probably why it's important to hold events like Mobile Phone East Africa. And the continent is trying to use the technology to solve its problems.
What the techies are doing is using these as raw materials, right, to create new solutions and new opportunities.
One of the solutions is mobile phone eye examination app, Peak, being tested in Kenya. At Mobile East Africa 2014, a big talking point was the affordability of the internet in Africa.
We're going to use the mobile and web to do everything from agriculture, health, learning, education, etc. Mobile web is going to replace the need for computers and take the place of TV.
Local and international industry leaders attended the conference. Mobile phone network provider Safaricom urged app developers to work with them in coming up with some of Africa's solutions. Malio Games in Nigeria is incorporating local stories in online gaming. This is proving successful in the West African country.
It's a new day to strategize and develop new products towards the success of Hugo Obi's gaming company, Malio. Since the year 2012, Malio has created about 14 online games. The games are intended to give the player a sense of ordinary life in Africa. Like what we're all familiar with, chaotic and uncomfortable rides on different modes of public transport.
Okada Ride, for instance, is a game where you are trying to navigate your way through traffic. Your obstacles are very simple. You have potholes and you have keke maras, which you have to avoid. The game lasts for a few minutes. You weave through traffic. You sort of like have the landscape of Lagos. It's kind of fun.
Another one of African nuisances is malaria. The deadly mosquito-borne disease also features in Hugo's catalogue. In a game called Mosquito Smasher, the player has to kill as many mosquitoes as they can. Fans find Malio Games more relatable to them.
When I play foreign games, let's say Need for Speed, I like racing games. And when I play games like Need for Speed, I cannot relate because it gives me areas like Texas, Los Angeles, but then I'm playing the Okada ride on Malio, and it's like I'm on Ikorodu Road. I see keke and flips, I see downfalls, so I really can't relate.
Malio Games have had tens of thousands of downloads in just 2 years. They've also had about 20,000 visitors to the site on a weekly basis and play at no cost.
Friday was Valentine's Day, and the whole month of February is dedicated to love. The web has made it easy to find love, as there are numerous dating sites.
If you consider yourself a vegetarian, zombie fanatic, or animal lover and are looking for love, well, look no further, as there are websites that will help you find a match similar to you. These sites are dedicated to finding you a mate with a specific trait or work profession.
Now there are so many sites specific to different demographics, like women behind bars, for women who are in prison.
One dating site even goes as far as matching you up with your lookalike. FindYourFacemate.com helped Michelle Mafia find her lost boyfriend.
Yeah, because he has a really nice smile and I thought he was really handsome, and I thought, all right, well, let me just meet him before I make that decision for sure, because you never know with a picture. But when I met him, I was immediately attracted to him, yeah.
Some say what these sites do isn't different from what we do elsewhere when looking for life partners.
If you think about it, we do this on every dating website that we go to. You look at the pictures first and you scroll through the pictures and you try to see, where do you feel some chemistry? Where are you attracted?
Thanks to technology for making dating convenient, but the true test lies in keeping the online love candle burning offline.
The extremely popular war game World of Tanks Xbox 360 edition hit the market on the 12th. This was a global release, which means it's available to us here in Africa. Please note that the following report contains video game scenes of violent explosions.
World of Tanks is a great team-based multiplayer online action game. It is a dedicated armored warfare game that has been available on PC since 2010. The hugely successful World of Tanks is now up for grabs for Xbox Live Gold subscribers on the Xbox 360. Silver members are given a 7-day timed trial to throw themselves into epic tank battles with other players from all over the world. The popularity of World of Tanks is due to the game's picking from an arsenal of more than 200 historically accurate armored vehicles. The Xbox 360 edition is also making it easy for PC veterans to make the switch to console. This, as the 360 edition, is equipped with a new control scheme suited for twin-stick controllers, along with a new HD TV optimized interface. Unfortunately, there won't be any cross-platform play between the PC and Xbox versions of the game. This means those who have been playing on PC will not get to carry their progress over to the Xbox.
Let's take a short break and we'll be back with our discussion about South Africa's satellites.
Boys, let's have the biggest bra in the world.
Yeah! Biggest bra! It's gonna be amazing!
Say the biggest bra in the world, we're not joking.
From Jersey to Durban, grab your tongs and get ready to ride in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1!
Our beer, our bra, it all comes together with Ecasa.
Welcome back, and remember to send us a video telling us about your favorite apps. This week we have a video from Charles Msomi from Gauteng's East Rand.
Charles Msomi, and I've got several apps on my phone. It's a Samsung Note 2, and as you can see, I'm a bit of a sports freak. My favorite app being the SuperSport app. It keeps me updated on all the sports news that's happening around the world. So it's just a click away from the rest of the world. I can find out what's happening in the English Premiership within just the click of an app, and I can also find out what's going on in the country, as in other football news or rugby news or anything. That's my favorite app.
All right, recently there's been some controversy over one of South Africa's space satellites that is reportedly missing. It's said to have a price tag of over R1 billion. So what are space communication satellites, and what is the size of South Africa's space project? Here to discuss this with us is Yunus Bayat, the operations manager at the South African National Space Agency. Hello, and thank you for being a part of our network.
Hi, thank you.
Now, tell us about SANSA and its mandate.
Well, SANSA is responsible for directing government's investment in space. We were established by way of legislation. In 2008, Cabinet approved the establishment of the agency, and the agency is used as an institutional vehicle to basically deliver on national space science and technology programs.
All right, and what are space communications for?
Space communications are used for, well, in South Africa, mainly consumer services, which include satellite television, satellite radio, and internet broadband services, also fixed satellite services.
And what's the difference between that and a spy satellite?
Well, typically, telecommunication satellites would occupy the geostationary satellite orbit, which is at an altitude of 36,000 kilometers above the Earth's surface, whereas spy satellites would occupy the low Earth orbit, which is much closer to Earth. Spy satellites would also employ highly advanced optical instruments to be able to sense and detect elements on the ground, on Earth.
And Sensor works with both?
We don't work with spy satellites, but we do support satellites that belong to space agencies and satellite operators. These are typically communication satellites.
And who funds Sensor exactly?
Well, government funds Sensor. We fall under the Department of Science and Technology.
Over the years, Sensor has gone through a lot of changes. Yes. Can you just tell us about some of those changes?
Well, our history dates back to the dawn of the space age and what they call Project Vanguard. And we began as a tracking station for NASA in the late 50s with the launch of the first satellite, Sputnik. Later, we began being part of the JPL, Jet Propulsion Laboratories tracking network. We supported many of the American satellites, the artificial satellites that were launched as part of the Cold War. And later, with sanctions, NASA left the country. We then were taken over by the CSIR, and we began supporting some of the French space agency missions and performing routine housekeeping for a lot of their spacecraft.
NASA left the country because of apartheid sanctions, you say?
That's correct, yes.
Now, do you then still launch from South Africa?
No. No, we don't.
You don't launch from South Africa at all?
No.
All right. And what's the process for that, and why do you not launch from South Africa?
Well, we don't have capability to launch from the territory as yet. There is a company called Marcom who are developing rocket capability to be able to launch spacecraft into low Earth orbit. We're also we're a little too far from the equator to be able to launch into what's called geosynchronous transfer orbit.
All right. Now, how do countries monitor or track their satellites once they are out in space?
Well, they've got ground station networks that are strategically located and distributed around the globe that would track these satellites.
Isn't there a lot of space junk, though, there?
Yes, of course there is.
And the difficulty in that, because we read a couple of weeks ago about a South African satellite that's possibly missing.
Yes.
Yeah, so how difficult is that?
Well, there's a person in Cape Town, Gunther. It's called Gunther's page, and he tracks almost everything out there. We track stuff that are disclosed to space agencies and also satellite operators, and it's tracking elements that are easily accessible off the internet.
And do you find that in South Africa there's enough knowledge about Sensor and the work that you guys do?
I wouldn't say so, but there's many initiatives that we've launched to try and raise awareness, especially amongst youth. In South Africa, we do schools visit our facilities very often. We've seen over a few thousand students that have come through our facility over the last year.
All right, well, Yunus Bayat from the South African National Space Agency, thank you very much for being a part of our network tonight.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, remember, it's SABC Network on Facebook and Twitter, News Network at sabc.co.za on email. We're discussing a planned business expo with Business Connection when we return.
There's a champion in all men. They have skill and courage. They have power. They have spirit. And they deserve their reward. Carling Black Label. Champion men deserve champion beer.
Welcome back. Now, various businesses will get an opportunity to showcase what they do in Sandton, Johannesburg later this year. Business Connection says this is also to share technology solutions, ideas and innovations. Joining us from Durban to talk to us about this is Business Connection's Chief Operations Officer, Matthew Blewett. Thank you for being a part of our network, Matthew. Now, what exactly will be happening at the showcase?
Hi, and thanks for having us. It's really exciting to be here. We're really trying to do a very unique event, and just watching all those clips that are on your show, technology is changing in the sense that there are all these pervasive changes where we have the consumer technology, enterprise technology, all impacting citizens and consumers in such a different way. And we believe there's a huge opportunity to bring together an expo of both enterprise solutions, consumer solutions from players across the world, and especially South Africa. And that's what this expo is going to be about. It's more than just a expo. They're going to be a conference, a stream, and also a whole bunch of other exciting elements to the expo.
I believe you're calling it My World of Tomorrow. Why is that?
Well, I think we really believe that technology has the ability to change the world of tomorrow for Africa, and we see ourselves as facilitating Africans to see that. And the idea is, if you go to this expo, you'll get a glimpse of how technology can change the world of tomorrow. And we're hoping that attracts lots of Africans to believe in what technology can do for the future.
What sort of businesses are you looking for here?
There's a range. We obviously, as a large enterprise technology company, we will have the traditional large technology players there, the large vendors that we're all familiar with, Microsoft, IBM, Cisco, Oracle. But at the same time, we're also looking to showcase the African technology players. Saw in one of the clips that you were showing, a software developer of games. We have a particular element of the conference called the Rising Stars of Africa, where we're going to be sponsoring various African technology companies to come and also demonstrate and showcase their solutions at the expo.
So I take it that the people you're inviting are from all over the African continent and not just in South Africa?
Absolutely. This is an African expo. We, as Business Connection, are represented throughout Africa, Kenya, Ethiopia, Nigeria. And in fact, I was just in Nigeria towards the end of last year, and we've identified a number of companies that we'll be bringing out from Nigeria and, of course, other parts of Africa.
All right. How are you reaching out to these companies?
We're busy negotiating various methods. Obviously, we have offices in the various countries in Africa, and through those offices we're identifying some of the new companies that are developing really funky things that we think are going to be the solutions of the future. We've seen some really exciting companies developing software, certainly in West Africa, around financial services using mobile solutions. So it's really a process. In some countries, we're also running competitions to get organizations to showcase what they have, and the winners of those competitions will be able to come down to the expo.
You mentioned the African continent a lot, the rest of the continent and what's happening here. But can you just tell us a bit about what you're seeing when you're traveling the continent?
Well, what I'm seeing is absolutely mind-blowing. I think we here in South Africa, we experience technology and we think we're the leaders, and certainly in many respects South Africa does have some amazing technological advancements, but I'm finding, especially in West Africa, as I mentioned before, there is a burgeoning software development community. The clip you showed earlier on from Kenya, where people are developing games and mobile software, which is coming from all parts of Africa, and I think it's an absolutely exciting.
And now, how can people get more information about this?
Well, the best place to go, because we're a technology company, is to go onto the web, www.mwot.co.za, and obviously if you want to get involved or showcase your solution, you can get all the details from that website.
All right, Matthew Blewett, thank you very much for joining us and being a part of our network tonight.
Thank you very much.
Now here's a bit of what's been happening in social media. South Africans have shared their outcry on Twitter over a Rapport newspaper video on YouTube showing two members of the Waterkloof 4 in their prison cell with alcohol, a computer, a kettle, and a mobile phone. The video of the men who were convicted in 2001 after they had killed a homeless person shows them having a good time in luxury behind bars. The four have just been released on parole, but people are angry over their fancy living conditions in prison. The State of the Nation address took place on Thursday. Some focus more on the fashion there rather than what President Jacob Zuma was saying. Maihlome Chwede shared this photo of his boss, Public Enterprises Minister Malio Games, wearing his red carpet outfit. Chwede then showed off his own suit. Mandla Mandela was in traditional Xhosa. Fans from KwaZulu-Natal celebrated as the Sharks beat Pretoria's Bulls 31-16 in their Super Rugby opener. Many shared their thoughts in social media on why they felt the Shark Tank was just too big for the Bulls to swim in. And that's all we have for you this week. Thank you very much for being a part of our network. We're on SABC Network on Facebook and Twitter, News Network at sabc.co.za on email. The video we leave you with is of the Norwegian Army. They're not protecting citizens here as armies usually do, but are having a bit of fun doing the Harlem Shake. Bye-bye.
Con los terroristas.